Friends, good evening. Today we are going to think about the Battle of Jericho. It is in a book of Joshua chapter 5. I'm not going to read the story. You know that the priest circle around the Jericho, and the fortress and the walls of Jericho came down. And you would be wondering why Jericho was won without any human effort. Why God himself intervened in this fight. That was the first fight beyond the Jordan, after crossing the Jordan River. And before we go in deeper and try to unveil the reason behind why God gave Jericho in the hands of Israelites without any human effort, let us see that how they enter, how they cross the Jordan. Joshua chapter 3 verse 17. This is that they crossed the Jordan River. Even if it was on a flood stage, they walked on the dry ground. These people crossed the Jordan River on a dry ground. Have you ever seen a river without any mud or completely dry ground? How God dry it out. It is amazing. God wanted to show them the repetition what he did when their fathers, because the previous generation died in wilderness, crossed the Red Sea. They walked on the dry ground. They crossed the Red Sea on a dry ground. God is just like rewriting or restarting the same story. They crossed the Jordan River on a dry ground. And the reason is Joshua 4:22. He did this so that all the people on the earth might know that the hand of the Lord is powerful, and so that they might always fear the Lord your God. The fear word is actually Yahweh. In Hebrew it is Yahweh, means reverence. So God dried out the Jordan River not for the Israelites only, but it says that he did this so that all the people of the earth, that is you and me including, know that the hand of the Lord is so powerful. God dried out the Jordan River, and the people crossed the Jordan River on a dry ground. That because God wanted to remind you and me today that he is the most powerful God. He is the only God. And then on Joshua 6:2, that is another beautiful thing. Then the Lord said to Joshua, "See, I have delivered Jericho into your hand, along with its kings and its fighting men." It says a fighting man, but actually Hebrew word is Gibor. Gibor means a mighty man. Do you recall the people who crossed the Jordan River, their fathers who died in wilderness? They were afraid of the mighty man when the spies brought back the report to Moses, and they were afraid of mighty men. And God wants to remind the Israelites that it is not their strength, but it is the hand of God can deliver and provide them. Beyond that, I wanted to read a couple of good things. In Numbers 13:31, but the man who had gone up with him said, "We can't attack those people." I'm talking about when the report came back to Moses in Numbers 13 that the land is filled with a mighty man. This is that we can't attack those people. They are stronger than we are. Now, if you remember in Exodus 17, there is a story when Amalekites attack Israel, and Moses commanded Joshua to go and defeat the Amalekites, and he defeated them. Exodus 17 verse 13 says, "So Joshua overcome the Amalekite army with the sword." Joshua defeated the Amalekites with a sword. So now that is in a memory of the people. And in Numbers 13, the people were saying that we can't attack those people. They are stronger than us. So they have seen that they have defeated Amalekites, but now they are saying that Amalekites was a one thing. But the people being on the other side of Jordan, that's a different story. They are stronger than we are. We cannot attack those people. Friends, that is same thing is happening with you and me. We might have prayed when we got a fever or cold and we got healed. But then we heard this news that somebody has a cancer or brain tumor or terminal sickness. And we said that, well, Amalekites was the one story. We defeated them. But now these guys beyond the Jordan River are a strong people. Well, God healed me from cold and fever. But cancer? Terminal illness? Brain tumor? That is a mighty thing. This is a big thing. We cannot fight with them. You might have prayed for a financial trouble one time. But now you have to pay a big amount. You have to finance your children's education. You have to pay out some big things. And you think that one time was okay. But now this is a big thing. We cannot fight with them. One time you might be praying for things for your sons and daughters. And God answered those prayers, meet those needs. But now you want to get them married. You wanted to find a right spouse, either for yourself or children. And this is a big thing. We cannot fight with them. The people with Moses who defeated Amalekites, they have seen the victory. But when they heard about the people of Jericho in that area, that they are mighty, their heart melted and they are afraid. And they said that we can't attack them. They are stronger than us. And moreover there, they says that we are like grasshoppers. They are taking hands in the matter in their own hands. It's never a good idea. God has told them that you are going to get in the promised land flowing with milk and honey. They wanted to take matter in their own hand, and they think that they will defeat those strong people with a sword, and they don't have strength. They cannot do it. So before the spies went out, they might be thinking, all right, spies has gone, they will come back, they will tell us, and just like we defeated Amalekites, we will defeat them. But when they heard the report that they are stronger than them, now they say, what we can do? We are just like grasshoppers. You might have think one way, that this is the way I will solve my problem. This is the way I will find a solution to my situation. But now when you realize, oh my God, this is bigger than I thought. How I can fight with them? I'm just like grasshopper. To understand the grasshopper, that is a very interesting thing. That the grasshoppers cannot survive the cold. They dies in cold. Well, the Israelites they faced the very unusual climate in desert, cold and hot. And they might be thinking that we are just like grasshoppers. They might have seen grasshoppers day in, day out. Grasshoppers are always on the ground. They try to jump high or they try to fly, but they are not good flyers. They always come back to the ground. And they are looking around in the desert, these grasshoppers. They think that we are just like grasshoppers. We are not going anywhere. we will never able to fly. We are never able to achieve what we can. Or God is telling us we will get things, but we will not. We are just like grasshoppers. Are you thinking today you are just like grasshoppers? Because one time you might have seen the hand of God working in your life, but those were the smaller things. But you are facing a bigger challenge, bigger sickness, terrible news. And you think that I cannot fight with them. Friends, don't take matter in your hands. Let me remind you who you are. Read Psalm 139. I'm particularly reading Psalm 139, 13 to 18. And I will read slowly, and because there are a lot of beautiful words in Hebrew that makes the interpretation really beautiful. Let me start. For you created my innermost. You knit me together. Now this word knit in English is translated as neat, but actually it is in Hebrew it's called a sokak. Sokak means if you create something and you put hedge around it, or you close it, close in, so nothing can go inside, or whatever you put inside is protected. You close in, you shut in, you put fence around. That is the knitting word is used. So like God in the womb made you, and then He closed it. He protected it. So you will survive. And then it says that, verse 14, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Fearfully and wonderfully made. The word made in Hebrew is actually palau. Now palau is not just simply made. Have you seen in any assembly line or anything where they manufacture some parts and they stamp it with numbers? They are unique. They are unique. Every part has a different number. That is called a marking. Palau means marked out or to set apart. Because you are set apart, you are marked when God created in the womb. He has marked you, He has set you apart. Nobody was created before you. Nobody will be created after you. You are the only one. You are the only one that God has ever created. You are marked. So that's what it is. Wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. Verse 15. My frame was not hidden from you. The frame word is ostim. Ostim in Hebrew. Ostim means bones or power. If you don't have bones, you cannot stand up. That's your strength is in the bones. And these words, Ostim says that my bones were not created. You were in your mother's womb. If you are a medical person, you know that in your mother's womb, you were liquid. There was no bone in it. God says that when there was no bones, there was no frame created. I know you. And when I created the bones and frames, I know you from that time. And then it says, when I was woven together, I know that full well, my frame was not hidden from you when I was made. Now, this made is different than earlier made. In verse 14, we talk about made, called paulau, marked out or set apart. But in verse 15, when I was made, that is called, the word used here is called raukam. Raukam means embroidery. Have you seen embroidery? It's a very delicate process. You take multiple threads and you do the embroidery and beautiful things comes out. Colorful things comes out. Exactly that is way it is written. Embroidery, multiple colors way. God is did the embroidery in making you in your mother's womb. When I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw. Now the word saw in Hebrew is called ra. Ra means inspect. Inspect not in a sense that something was wrong. Inspect means God was looking, oh, how beautiful you are, how precious you are, how nicely you look like. Inspect. God was inspecting you when He was making you in your mother's womb. In my unformed body, the English we said the unformed body, the Hebrew word is called golem, most embryo. God has seen you when you were embryo. All the days ordained for me were written in your book. And verse 18 is very beautiful. It says, where I count to them, I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I am still with you. When I'm awake, I am still with you. Psalmist doesn't say that when I awake, you will be with me. He said that when I'm awake, I am myself still with you, because now you are in mother's womb. God has sealed you, shut you. He embroidered you. He did marvelous thing, and He made you. And now you are born. You are coming out in the world, and you are opening your eyes. You are becoming awake to your surrounding. And Psalmist said, I am still with you, because now the child is helpless. Child doesn't know. He cannot grab anything. He cannot walk. He cannot see. He cannot talk. No, nothing. Totally helpless. And he is taking comfort that God is still there. I am still with you. That means, God, you have carried me. I'm still with you. Somebody can, when child is helpless, somebody can come and snatch away. But I'm still with you. That means I open my eyes, God, and you are there. It's so comforting. Now, think about that way. When Jesus called His people, He told them, you are my treasured possessions. You are mine. You are not grasshoppers. You are special. You are one of a kind. When God made you, He took pleasure in you. God wanted Israelites to show that Jericho, I am delivering you. Your strength, your weakness means nothing. It is I who is going to carry you. Your biggest foe or fear means nothing. God is going to take care of it. God bless you, and thank you.